Authentic happiness. What is it and how do you find it? This is like the an age-old question that, as far as I can tell, has no one single answer. It's very subjective and it's different for everyone, or that's what we're taught. And we're taught that everything is unique to the person, which is true. People find happiness in doing different things and being a different way than others, and it's very specific. However, in studying all the wisdom teachings and under these wonderful teachers that I've had the great pleasure of learning from, it seems that there is a common thread to happiness. There's a common thread, and it's something that gets overlooked because it's in plain sight. And it's not out there, it's typically in here. So, what does that even mean? Good question. When you look for happiness outside, there's actually, it's a bit tricky because it's always changing, right? There's this change everywhere. There's change all over the place. There's no stopping change. And what some consider happiness is stability, right? Perhaps, or a stable sense of happiness, something that will never change. I'm happy in a consistent state of happiness. Well, if only I become enlightened, then I'll be happy all the time. Or if I wake up, I'll be happy all the time. It's interesting because that is a bit of a misunderstanding as well. I'm not saying that's happened over here. I'm just saying that the teachers that it has happened to, or so they say, or so others say about them, they are very clear that nothing was all peachy butterfly, roses, rainbows, right? It was still stuff happened. Happiness was not a constant in terms of external circumstance. Happiness was only an inside job. Always has been, always will be, according to the teachings. So what I've discovered is true happiness can only be gotten when it comes from in here, within. Everything outside changes. What's in here is still. Okay, it's still consistent, constant, rock-like, stable, foundation, bedrock, all these words, right? And all these things seem a whole heck of a lot more stable than the pillars of sand offered by the outside world. Okay, so I have activities that make me happy, and you probably do as well. So those are fleeting in nature, and while I can be happy in a moment doing the activity, next moment something can happen. It takes me off of that happy pedestal, and it's like a constant roller coaster throughout all of life. So it sounds a little strange, but that sense of neutrality, the sense of evenness happening in true contentment, which could lead to true happiness, is being okay with things as they are, not as they could be, or should be, or might be, or could have been, or maybe should have been, or all these words, right? And each of these words carries with them regret or wanting to change something, or if only it were a little different, everything would be fine then. It would be perfect if that were the case. If only that were the case, all of this would be right. You know how I know that? Because I figured it out. That if only the outside was a little different, the inside would be totally fine and dandy, all good. It doesn't sound like that can really hold much water, right? It does. It's kind of holes in that bucket. And it's because we are then making an assumption that we know in total what is best for us to be happy. And the happiness we're seeking is an idea. It's an idea of consistency. It's an idea of stability. But that stability is being built on the pillars of sand of the external world. So how stable is that, right? It just seems like it's kind of a house of cards. It's like everything's fine for there comes some wind, and that's the end of the problem. And then that's the end of that. It blows away. It doesn't seem like a very good position to be coming from in terms of seeking or looking for this true, authentic happiness. So when I'm asked this question, I want to be happier, Jeff. This is my whole mission in life, is just to get happier and be happy with other people and treat them better, and myself too, of course. And the answer, again, it's very consistent. It's the teachings have said to me, right, Jeff over here, that this all happens. It's an inside job. So as I sit, as two ways to go about this, typically, and one way is a lot more effective in a way because it's happening in the real world while you're out there, right? When I'm in here, method number one, of course, is formal meditation or formal just mindfully being in the moment. That it could just be smiling, sitting here smiling, right? I am right now. I'm happy to talk to you. For me, this is a mindful, meditative activity. Every time I sit in this chair in front of this camera, I end buzzing, right? There's external happiness there, but it too shall pass, as does everything, good and bad. So as I sit in formal meditation, it's a great practice, and it teaches me a bit about what the voice in my head is trying to accomplish, what its purpose is, who it might be, and what it isn't, and what it is. Right. So all this, and when it, and then when it kind of acquiesces and kind of just settles, right, and grows more comfortable with the activity of formal meditation, I take the practice. This is method number 2. So method number 1, of course, is sitting and practicing in the quiet, in a serene environment. It's very nice. It's very calming. But I've heard from some very talented meditators, very gifted sitters in terms of meditating. And just really right into it, right? And they get into the outside world, and it just goes off. It's just fireworks, and it's not saying they're failing. It's not. You're not practicing for the. It's like practicing golf in a simulator your whole life, and going out in a real course, or in a driving range, right? I'm out there. I'm hitting it, $160 with a 7-iron, really hitting it strong, straight and strong. I mean, I get in the course, and but there's an angle to consider, and there's all kinds of people watching. It's a whole different story, And in the real world, same thing is similar. Same thing is true. Active meditation, this active daily meditation, this how to get that true happiness, comes from living that sitting practice. But you're living it. You're taking it with you, like taking this idea and bringing it with you on the road. And it's just with you at all times, and your stability. It's like your stable rock to stand on in any situation. And that can lead to true happiness, because with that comes true acceptance and understanding of other people, and just the ways to become unhappy are lessened. Thus, it appears when the outside world changes, you can hang with those changes. And that's how it feels over here. The meditation formal practice has been there for me, but hasn't been the rock. The rock is the active, waking, walking meditation during waking hours. And this is it's an unbelievable, and it's consistent, because you can practice it all day. And it's just being mindful of the daily moments that are going to go poof, right, come up and bubble up at you. They're going to hit you, right? And how are you going to, what do you do with that punch? The issue is, and always has been over here, is that just sitting and just saying, okay, I'm done sitting, let's go on with the day, and then carry my regular attitude with me. The general mindful attitude that comes out of sitting meditation to be brought with you is so powerful. So that is true authentic happiness can come from within. And it's been said many times, but I hope this video has helped a little bit to explain what this ability you're seeking might actually be. It may not, it's kind of, maybe it's misunderstood a bit, maybe it's a mislabeling, or maybe it's just a general misunderstanding of trying to hold what is, the sand of it slips through your fingers, I was so happy, and where'd it go, and why can't this stay? And you have these events in life where you get the sweetest moment. I had one the other day, right? Sweetest moment in the world. You're watching something, there's just the sweetest thing. And the next day, that same exact subject that you were watching the day before just flips the switch and becomes a total maniac on you. You're like, what the heck? What happened to the person I was just watching? And all of a sudden, then you're thrown off, because you were lulled into this sense of happy security. But there's nothing evil afoot here. It just is the changing, the constant changing of the world, and that's the only constant is change, and it's a beautiful thing. So anyway, thank you so much for joining me. As always, I love you all. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.